Hello everyone, my name is Dana, and for my ZBrush tutorial, I will be showing you guys this really cool brush. So the brush that I'll be using today is called the Mesh Balloon Brush. So this brush is technically considered a masking tool. However, it acts very differently compared to a normal masking tool where, let's say, you're holding down Control. Oops, let me use the regular one for now, where you're holding down Control and it selects something, and then whatever you want to do to the other parts of your sphere or shape will alter. Instead, with this new brush, you can create shapes from mask without using the extrusion tool. So to access this brush, you're going to press B, and then you'll press M. Oops, wrong button. You'll press M, and then right here, you'll see Mesh Balloon. You could press H, so you could do BMH to find the brush, or you can hold down Control and then press right here on the brush tools, and you'll find Mesh Balloon right next to the masking square. So this tool can be used in a bunch of different ways, really, but one way you could start it off with is, let's say my cursor is right here, and I'm going to turn on symmetry for this for now. You can use this tool with and without symmetry, but you're going to hold down Control, and you can make any shape you want. I'll just make two circles for now. And you can see it's not really centered, but they're two shapes, and you could keep adding from these shapes. But another way you could do this, let's say you want to make something more symmetrical on your character or whatever you're creating. For this little example, I'll just make a little ears. I'm going to hold Control, and I'll mark out a little shape, and then I'm going to hold Shift. So I'm still holding Control, but I'll hold Shift as well, and now it'll center that shape to be in the middle of that original sphere I had. You can keep adding shapes from that sphere, hold Control, then hold Shift, then release, and it'll keep adding to be in the center of your original sphere that you had. But if you're holding just Control and then creating whatever shape from that original shape, it won't be centered with the middle, but it'll add from where your cursor is rather than from where the center of the object is. So this could be really useful because let's say you want to make a body. So we can add some shoulder pads, and we can add some arms. These are some really buff arms. And then we'll add a tiny little waist. You can always readjust it, undo, and redo. But when you're using this tool, you'll notice that everything you make before gets masked out, which is actually really useful because let's say I don't really like that these arms are forward too much. You can always press move and go adjust it without it changing whatever you had before. You could absolutely Dynamesh or ZRemesh and have all of these polygons be together, but I find sometimes it's a little more useful to just split it to parts. That way you can work on each thing individually, and then you can merge them into their respective subtools that you'd like. The only thing with this brush is that you'll have to make it on something, or you'll have to use this brush on an object that hasn't had too many subdivisions. Because when you have too many subdivisions, let's say I'm gonna subdivide this square bunch. Wrong button again. I'll press Control D to subdivide, which will just smoothen out this sphere. It'll say how I can't I can't add the mesh balloon to this sphere because there's too many subdivisions. To just take away those subdivisions, I will go into geometry and I will just press delete lower, and that way I will have no more of those older subdivisions and it won't confuse the program. But overall, I think this tool is really fun. I think that it was very useful for if you want to make a base and if you want to just make something really symmetrical. Oh, actually, while I remember, you can also press Control and lower the intensity or raise the intensity to change the sizing of that original shape you had. So I I press Control and I lowered the Z intensity. So now when I make that shape again, it'll be a lot thinner. And I really like this tool because I like that it keeps all those little edges and shapes, and it does use lazy mouse, but you can always deselect the lazy mouse in the stroke tab up there, right here. And um, overall, I think this tool is really useful, and if you kind of just want to mess around, make some fun shapes without having to go through the hassle of moving every little piece of your sphere or just meshing it all around, I think this tool is very fun and very helpful, and I hope you guys enjoy this brush as much as I do. Okay, bye!